wants to go to dinner at restaurant Y. You have a heated argument. You go to restaurant Y. It was not your choice. The food tastes awful and the service is terrible. Option A, you could critique the food, point out our partner was wrong. This mistake could have been avoided how only you listened to me. Option B, shut up. Eat the stupid food. Try to enjoy it and have a nice evening. What would I do? What should I do? Almost all of my clients, what would I do? Critique the food. What should I do? Shut up. Everyone look up here. Look this way. How many people in this room have ever critiqued the food before? Hands up. Hands in the air. Yes, a room filled with food critiquers. Was that smart or stupid? Stupid. And as stupid as it was, I'm going to give you an example now. That is so stupid. It will make that one pale by comparison. And yes, I will predict at least half of the people in the room have done this. Case 2. You have a hard day at work, a very hard day. You go home. Your husband, wife, or partner is there, and the other person says, I had such a hard day today. I had such a tough day. And we reply, you had a hard day. You had a hard day. Do you have any idea what I had to put up with today? Do you think you had a hard day? We are so competitive, we have to prove we are more miserable than the people we live with. I gave this example to my class at the Dartmouth Tuck School of Business. A young man in the back raised his hand. He said, I did that last week. I asked him, what happened? He said, my wife looked at me. She said, honey, you just think you've had a hard day. It is not over. Next classic problem for smart, successful people is called adding too much value. What does this mean? I am young, smart, enthusiastic. You're my boss. I come to you with an idea. You think it's a great idea. Rather than just saying great idea, our natural tendency is to say, that is a nice idea. Why don't you add this to it? The problem is the quality of the idea may go up 5%. My commitment to execute the idea may go down 50%. It's not my idea, boss. Now it's your idea. Incredibly difficult for smart, successful people not to constantly add value. One of my good coaching clients retired several years ago. His name, J.P. Garnier. JP was the CEO of a very large drug company called GlaxoSmithKline. I asked JP, what did you learn about leadership as the CEO of this huge company? He said, I have learned a very hard lesson. And as you get promoted in life, every time you become more powerful, this lesson will become more real for you. He said, my suggestions become orders. My suggestions become orders. He said, if they're smart, they're orders. If they're stupid, they're orders. If I want them to be orders, they're orders. And if I do not want them to be orders, they're orders anyway. My suggestions become orders. For 9 years, I trained the admirals in the United States Navy. What is the first thing I trained the admirals? When you get to start, your suggestions become orders. Animals do not make suggestions. When an animal makes a suggestion, what is the response? Sir, yes, sir. The suggestion becomes an order. I asked my friend JP, what did you learn from me when I was your coach that helped you the most? He said, you taught me one lesson that helped me be a better leader and have a happier life. I asked him, what was the lesson? He said, before I speak, breathe and ask myself one question. Is it worth it? Is it worth it? And he said, as the CEO of this huge company, 50% of the time, if I had the discipline to stop, to breathe, and to ask, is it worth it? What did I decide? Am I right? Maybe. Is it worth it? No. Now, one occupational group is the very worst at adding too much value. The worst. What occupation is this? Engineers. Do I have any engineers in the room? Please raise your hands. Engineers. Yes, engineers, the very worst. Do I have any electrical engineers? Yes, double bad, electrical engineer, double bad. Yes, over there, in the blue, yeah, very bad, double bad. Stand up. My friend in the blue, there he is. Have you ever journeyed through life looking for logic and been surprised because you didn't find it? Has that happened to you? All the time, he says. Have you ever pointed out to friends and family members that their comments were illogical? Have you done that before? Yes, you have done this. And do they love you because of this or in spite of this? In spite of this. Let's hear it for the electrical engineer over here. Big round of applause for this guy. Next classic problem is called, I already knew that. I'm young, smart, enthusiastic. You're my boss. I come to you with an idea. You did already know it. Just say great idea. Just say great idea. We don't have to prove we know more than everyone we've ever met. Just say great idea. And finally, passing too much judgment. You see, everything I teach you today is not just good for work, it's good for home. 4 words that basically are going to help us be a better coach at work for most of us and a better family member at home. What are these 4 simple words? Help more, judge less. Help more, judge less. How many of us have friends and family members who might be happy if we help just a little more and we judge just a little less? That's just about everybody. Now, everything that I've taught you so far sounds very simple. You might think, well, that sounds easy to do. Wrong. It's very difficult to do. Why? In your life, you have taken test after test after test after test. And you've had one goal, to prove how smart you were. Over and over and over and over again. It's very difficult to stop. It's very difficult to stop. And as you get promoted, you need to quit proving how smart you are and make everybody else a hero. For the great achiever, it's all about me. And for the great leader, it's all about them. It's very difficult to let go of being that great achiever and focus on being a great leader. Speaking of which, learning from a great leader. In my role as an executive coach, I have a very unique billing system. I do not get paid 1 cent if my clients do not get better. Better is not judged by me. Better is not judged by my client. Better is judged by all the people around my client. There's a great way to test if someone really believes what they're saying. You can ask a person one question and instantly determine their level of belief. I have never seen a simple question fail. What is the question? Do you want to bet on it? Do you want to bet on it? If people say, I believe it, but I would not bet on it, they don't believe it. If they say, here's the money, they believe it. I bet on this every time. When you get paid for results, you learn humility. The client I coached that I spent the most amount of time with did not improve at all. The client I coached that I spent the least amount of time with improved more than anyone I've ever coached, and 200 people got better. This was very humbling. I made a chart. I learned something. There was a negative correlation between spending time with me and getting better. I thought, this is troubling. I talked to my client who improved the most, who I spent the least amount of time with, and who was ranked CEO of the Year in the United States in 2014, #3 greatest leader in the world. His name, Alan Mulally. Alan was the CEO of Ford Motor Company. When he went to Ford, the stock was at $1. He left, it was $18.40. Amazing man. I talked to my friend Alan. I said, Alan, of all the people I've coached, I spent the least amount of time with you and you improved the most. And you were great to start with. I said, what should I learn about coaching from you? Alan taught me 2 lessons. He said, Marshall, lesson number 1, your mission as a coach is have great clients. If you have great clients, your coaching process will always work. If you have the wrong client, your coaching process will never work. He said, mission number 2, never make the coaching process about yourself and your own ego and how smart you think you are. Make it about the great people you work with and how proud you are of them. Then he said, as the CEO of Ford, my job wasn't that different. I don't design the cars. I don't build the cars. I don't sell the cars. I must have great people. And then he said, every day as I drove to work, I would tell myself, leadership is not about me. Leadership is about them. Well, for the great achiever, it's about me. But for the great leader, it's about them. Most of us never understand these points. Now, we're going to practice something called a participant response activity. I'm going to ask you questions. Do not reply until I go like this. If the answer is yes, I want you to say, "Da!" in a very loud voice. If the answer is no, you remain silent. Okay? Do your hands like this. Hands. Hands. Look at all the people in the room. Look around. Look at all the people. Now, I have a question. Are there many people in this room that have high integrity? Yes. Da! I'm going to test that. I'm going to ask you all a question. A troublesome question. A personal question. An embarrassing question. If the answer is yes, you must raise your hands. How many people in this very room are still stupidly attempting to change the behavior of a husband, wife, or partner who has no interest in changing? Hands in here. Yes. Many people trying to change the partner. How many years have you been doing this? Only 2, a mere beginner at stupidity. Only 2 years. How many years for you? 7. Many, many, many. Everyone look up here, smile. Everyone smile. I want you all to take a deep breath and do your hand like this, and I want you all to go, ah, let it go. Let it go. Let it go. Let it go. A second question. How many people in this very room, even more stupidly, are still attempting to change the behavior of mommy or daddy who has no interest in changing? Mommy, daddy, or both? Both. Mommy and daddy. She's tried to change both mommy and daddy. I was teaching my class at Dartmouth. A woman raised her hand. I said, are you trying to change mommy or daddy? She said, daddy. I asked her, what is daddy's problem? She said, Daddy does not have a healthy lifestyle. I asked her, how old is Daddy? She said, 94 years old. Leave the old boy alone. You want to smoke a cigar, old man? Smoke too. Smoke pot. Who cares? Well, a great lesson for coaching adults is this. If they do not care, do not waste your time. How much of our lives are wasted trying to change people who have no interest in changing? And a great lesson for yourself as a leader is this. If you do not care, don't waste your time. If you're going to get better at anything, the motivation for your improvement must come from one and only one place. Where is that place? In your heart. If it doesn't come from in here, you will not do it anyway. Look at the people I coach. I cannot make these people change what they do not want to change. What am I going to do? Shoot them? Beat them up? Kill them? I cannot make them change what they do not want to change. I can help them change what they do want to change. I cannot make you change what you don't want to change. If you don't want to change something, it's okay. I can help you change what you do want to change. That's good enough. Now I'm going to ask everybody to pick one behavior to change. Not 30, not 50, not 100. How many? Just one. For example, who in the room is impatient? Please raise your hand. Impatient. Oh, the lady in the front. You're so impatient, she was the first one to raise her hand. Who needs to be a better listener? Raise your hand. Better listener. Many people need to be better listeners. You're going to talk to your partner and say this. Partner, my name is, here's what I want to improve. Your partner's going to say, my name is, here's what I want to improve. You're going to say, here's what I want to improve, and then say, and here's why. And your partner's going to say, here's what I want to improve, and here's why. You're going to have about 40 seconds to talk to your partner. To your marks. Get set. Talk to your partner. Go, go, go. Talk. Talk to each other.
Я хочу стать лучшим слушателем, потому что иногда так начинаю разговор, что я начинаю перебивать снова. Нет, мне кажется, нужно быть обычно дискуссии отношения к этой
Okay, stop. We are now going to practice something called feed forward. Feed forward. This exercise is going to take about 3 minutes. In this exercise, you're going to be given a challenge. I'm going to challenge you to talk to as many people as you can talk to in this room in 3 minutes. You can do the exercise in Russian. Here's the way it works. You're going to say, my name is, I want to get better at. And the other person's going to give you 1 or 2 ideas. Then the other person's going to say, my name is, I want to get better at. 1 or 2 ideas. Then you say, thank you. After you say thank you, shake hands and talk to someone else. In the feed forward exercise, you're going to be in 2 roles. Role 1 is called, learn as much as I can. There's some smart people in the room. This is your chance to learn from these smart people. Role 2 is called help as much as I can. There's some nice people in the room. This is your chance to help these nice people. You're either going to be learning or you're going to be helping. Now, what are the rules of feed forward? Rule 1, no feedback about the past. No feedback about the past. We spend too much time in our lives talking about the past. Have any of you been impressed with your wife, husband, or partner's near photographic memory of your previous sins? which have been documented and will be shared with us on a regular basis. Well, we can't change the past anyway. Rule 1, no feedback about the past. And Rule 2, you can't judge ideas. Whatever people tell you, you just say thank you. So you're going to say, my name is, I want to get better at, 1 or 2 ideas, thank you. The other person does the same. Then look around the room, find someone who doesn't have a partner, and you're going to do that with the next partner. Does everyone understand the rules? Stand up. Up, up, up. Everyone stand up. Stand up. Let's go. Up. To your marks. Get set. Go. Go, go, go.